Yeah, probably.
Huh? I think this is the last time we get you before Kansas City.
Can't get rid of it.
Downhill. Oh, no, I won't. Downhill.
Can't get rid of it for any.
Start with Iowa State. You know, a lot of people think personnel-wise, talent-wise, they may be one of the best teams in the league. What do you like about them?
They're really good. I mean, they're really good offensively. They've got 8 or 10 guys who can really score the ball. And, they're great in transition. They killed us in transition. In Ames. I think they're as talented as anybody.
Wayington, obviously, bringing him off the bench, he's really, really good.
I mean, I thought he was as good a guard as we had in the league a year ago, and now he's coming off the bench. Schauk's been really, really good for him. They're good. I mean, they're really good. I don't know what else to say.
Looks like Wigginton might get the start tomorrow. Is that what you're seeing too, or?
I think it depends on where they're bad.
Right.
According to our track SID, it's a game time decision.
Game time. I've heard that.
Pretty good, I guess, to have that kind of talent, you know, available to come off the bench.
They're really deep. And they, like Solomon had a really good year for them last year, and they're not even playing. Lard's really good, really talented. I think he's as talented as any big in the league. It's like I think everybody else, except for maybe a few teams. Everybody's trying to figure out how to put it all together.
Does it really matter, though, whether he starts or not? You're going to prepare for him the same way.
These guys are doing a much better job of studying personnel and kind of knowing where they want to shoot from. Trying to make sure that they try to take them into help as much as they possibly can. We come out here and we got 20 minutes, and 20 minutes probably isn't enough, but I can't spare more than 20 minutes for them to really just kind of, like the baseline screen when Lamont fouled a guy in the corner. I mean, we knew it was coming. That's something that we should be able to handle. So it's personnel, one, but then two, it's what are they running, what are they trying to get out of it.
I know the results aren't quite where you want them yet, but I just sense and just seeing you, maybe an eagerness to get with these guys that maybe you didn't have a month ago, and being around them. Is that accurate?
Well, I think what's accurate is now whenever you talk to them, you got 10 eyes on you, and they're listening, they're paying attention. I think. Before we didn't have 10 eyes on them, they could have one time, and the guys were all over the place. It was hard. It's hard, guys are here, they're not here, they're out, they're back in. It just was, I think it was really unsettling for these guys. They didn't know what to think. Of course, I've been doing it 40 years, I didn't.
I was watching the Texas Tech-Texas game last night, and I was noticing the way Texas Tech played, a lot the way your good teams defend, the way they help, stay in front of their guys, the whole deal. Is that what you want to get your guys back to doing eventually?
We're going to get back to that. They do a great job at gang guard. Chris kind of cut his teeth under Coach Knight, and that looked like Indiana. It looked the way they used to go. And you got to kind of try to get them raised. And it's hard to get them raised. They do such a good job clogging the lane. They just don't give you anything easy. And it's becoming harder and harder and harder to score half-court offense. I think the more you hold the ball in half-court offense, the better your defense is going to be, because you don't have to play as hard.
Beyond the X's and O's, which I don't understand, there just seems to be an attitude about the way they play and a swagger that your guys your good teams have. Is that something else that you want to see get back with these guys?
Yeah, you know, I asked Al McGuire one time, when did you know that you guys had arrived on the national scene? When did you know that you were one of the best teams in the country? And he said when we walked into any venue without fear. And you know, and I've thought about that a lot over the years. And my really good teams. Van Exel used to say it's more fun to play on the road than it is at home because you get to shut those people up. You know, you get to see them put their coat on and walk out before the game's over with. He said that's a lot more fun. So, I mean, certain guys, I think, just have that, whatever it is. They just don't have any fear.
You've had that with some teams here. You've had some of that.
Yeah. Especially when Deshaun and Wells and those guys were seniors. Missoula was that way. Missoula didn't have that fear.
Do you recruit that? Do you teach it? I guess you got to recruit it. You either got it or you don't, right?
Hard to tell. It's hard to, particularly the way things are now. It didn't used to be as hard when you got to see guys play more in their high school. More in a camp situation that they were playing for something. AAU's made it difficult to find out who the tough guys are.
Coach, when Oklahoma goes on that run in the first half, dealing with the personnel that you're dealing with now, is it harder to make adjustments? Is it harder to coach them through that kind of scenario now?
I can say it, I don't think it's any secret. We're thin on the front line.
Right.
And we can't run offense near as efficiently with somebody with Derek, be it Logan or be it Drew. You just can't, you're not as crisp, we don't pass it as well. I mean, there's a lot of things. You hope that you kind of make up for it at the defensive end and rebound. And it's just harder to run offense when you got bigs out there, unless you have a big who can pass. If you have a really good passing big, then that makes all the difference in the world. Our problem is we can't have Derek pass it and catch it both.
Do you have to depend on them more defensively then in times like that, or to stop the run as opposed to?
Well, defense is a lot of things. We're probably not as good in transition defense with a big lineup. We should be a better rebounding team. Should be a better rebounding team. So you limit their second opportunities. The hardest thing in defense is a turnover, a live ball turnover.
Right.
And we supply enough of those.
Curious, you've seen enough, you've seen everybody. Who would you pick as your coach of the year this year in Big 12? You get that vote, I guess, coming up here in a couple of days.
I think it's a two-horse race. I think it's Chris or Scott Drew. I think those two guys. I think Tech was picked 8th and Baylor was picked 9th.
What about the best player you've seen? Player of the year?
I think that's Culver or Dedrick Lawson. Although Baylor's not Baylor without Mark Lowell. He does more things to win games without scoring the ball than anybody's been in this league since I've been in. Excuse me.
Coach, I think at one point earlier in the season you said that Jordan needed to learn to play smarter because he's not as big or as fast as other guards. Have you started to see that from him in the last couple of weeks?
He's not closing himself off. He put himself in bad positions before, which he got away with at high school that you don't get away with here. I think he's done a much better job giving himself some outs, rather than boxing himself in.
He's playing better defensively.
Yeah. I thought he did a really good job of staying in front of people the last couple of games. A couple breakdowns to Oklahoma, but TCU, I thought he did a really good job, and he wasn't bad. He just had a couple breakdowns.
Do you think Jordan is a player that can get to the rim? When I think of your good teams, you always have a guard that can get to the rim. Is he a guy that can do that, you think? Ever in his career? Is he capable of being that kind of guy?
I don't know. I think he'll be better. He'll be better pulling up. I think he should be able to get to the rim eventually when he learns to be able to dish it off, to be able to lob it over the rim to our bigs. There's a lot of things that you can do that make you a really good penetrator and not score the ball.
Consequently, there's a lot of things you can do as a coach when you got a guy who can get to the rim, right?
Yeah, it makes it easier. Truck got it to the rim. Mazzilla got it to the rim.
Day.
Yes, Day was a guard. That's what our games become. Our games become. It's become drive to the rim and go to the foul.
And defend.
And when you can't drive it to the rim, then you don't get to the foul.
And obviously defend too.
Yeah, you got to defend.
Speaking of Jordan, this is probably a little early to ask this, but the way he approaches the game, the way he works at it, and seems to study it. Do you see a future coach in him? He should want to go that way.
No, he's like all the rest of us. He wants to play. He told me early on. He said, Coach, I know nobody believes that I can get there, but I want to play in the NBA. And there's been a lot of guys smaller than him playing the NBA, and they could do some things extremely well. I think he wants to play.
I was just thinking about like Sean Miller or whatever guy. Yeah. He seemed to be similar to that kind of persona.
Sean grew up the way I grew up. He's son of a coach. His dad was extremely successful. His dad worked his butt off. Sean was like I was. I was the demonstrator for everything that my dad did. And that's what Sean was for John. He had to go to every clinic. I used to sometimes wake up and I just wanted to go play, and then I've got to go, and then you're at a clinic all day. What am I going to do? I'm sitting out listening, but I'm not really listening. And it's my dad's like, who's out there? What do you mean who's out there? Anybody from our league out there? If I said, yeah, he changed what he was going to talk about.
Wasn't that kind of like you, though? Didn't you try to squeeze everything you could out of your... I used to tell that story about when you were with the Sixers, you grabbed all the gear and stole it all.
I got all the gear. I didn't steal it, John. I just grabbed it.
He's gonna give it back.
You're gonna give it back?
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
I'll will it to him.
Still got it?
I got some.
Don't fit no more.
That's got to be polyester now. Hell, that's not.
No, it was like plastic.
Plastic, you catch on fire, right?
The pants came about like right here. They were like plastic.
So you had a fire, the house would just go up in flames quickly, huh?
That part of it.
Hey, Bob, is that a 3? Can he be a 2? Can he become a 4? Probably not a 4, I guess. But do you know where he is in a year or 2 years or 3 years? Is that part of the phone?
I think he could be really effective as a small forward. He's got to get better with his ball skills, and he's got to get a lot stronger. But Sean will get him stronger. It's just a matter of him putting the time in, mature, understand better. I think it's a lot bigger step than what these guys think it is to go from high school to here. You're you're more prepared if you go to a prep school, or if you go to even more prepared if you go to a junior college, because you're playing against guys that are college players. High school, I mean, how many times do you play against guys that you're going to see in a Big 12? Not very often.
For a guy his size, I mean, he's 6'6", 6'7". With what you want to do offensively, what's the difference between the guy who plays at 2 and a guy who plays at 3?
Well, the 3 obviously has got to rebound with that.
And he can do that a little bit.
He's starting to.
Yeah.
He's starting to do it a lot better.
And doesn't bounce it or pass it well enough right now to be a 2.
Not right now. I'm not saying he can't eventually, but not right now. If you remember, I played day at the point for a while, and came over. He said, "Can we start truck again?" And I said, "Why?" He said, "Man, this is killing me. I'm used to just running around, get open, not have to bring it up the whole floor, and then these guys come up there and want to, push up on me and press."